can mute all participants, please. Good evening. Welcome to the Siddha-Vetha webinar series and a combination of the Youth Career Accelerator program. So today we have Dr. G. Sivaraman for our talk. So the talk will be on an unexploited trait of ancient Indian health science, Siddha. So Siddha is, as you know, the oldest science medical system in the world. And Dr. Sivaraman is a successful practitioner of the Siddha medicine. And he is now working as a managing director and chief Siddha physician of his own healthcare institute. It's called the Arogya Healthcare Private Limited since 1995. Graduated from Government Siddha Medical College in the year 1992 and also have as a doctorate from Tamil University in Tanjavur, India. He is a prolific writer, renowned orator, a passionate environmentalist, and a connoisseur of organic food, all rolled into one. He is keenly interested in giving lectures in Siddha systems of medicine, environmental, and food and health, and keeps touring the length and breadth of the globe on lecture assignments. From the humble beginning as a Siddha doctor, Dr. G. Sivaraman rose to becoming a name to be reckoned into an alternative medicine through sheer commitment and desire for continuous learning that we can see from the number of YouTubes that he has and fame that he brought to India. He has been keenly espousing the cause of integrated medicine and constantly underlies the need to get the best of both worlds. He has not only presented academic papers in peer-reviewed journals, but also written on serious issues for the people at large in a language that could easily be understood. His works have helped the reader to broaden his understanding of Siddha and food practices. Aram Tinai, a hugely popular Tamil column in Ananda Vigadan on food and health issues, was a runway bestseller when published as a book. It is merged as the #1 bestseller in Chennai Book Fair year 2013. His other bestsellers includes Elam Suvai, Edu Siranda Unavu, Uyir Pillai, Marundana Vendam, and Narumanam Mutigal. Narumanam Mutigal. He has written 16 books so far, known for his passion and commitment to the cause of better living through food and environment. He has been invited by several governmental and non-governmental organizations to deliver lectures in India and abroad. He's visited more than 25 countries in the last 10 years and delivered several plenary and lead lectures in almost all continents of the globe. He addressed around 1.25 lakh students of more than 250 colleges across Tamil Nadu alone. It would not be an exaggeration to say that his continuous thought-provoking lectures along with his books on food has helped create huge awareness about minor millets or Sirudhaniyam among the citizens of Tamil Nadu. It's only natural that a person of such caliber has been recipient of several awards of state, national, and international fame in the lead of medicine, journalism, social work, and environmental protection. Now, I welcome Dr. G. Sivaraman to take over the show. Thank you.
Thanks, Dr. Shan, for your kind introduction. Good morning to everyone here. Good morning. I think you are almost in early night. Welcome you all.
Doctor. You could go ahead, please. Yeah, they all are mute, so you could go ahead, Doctor.
Yeah, okay. First, thanks to Dr. Shan for giving me an opportunity to give some introduction about Siddha system and some sight in what are the nuances of Siddha research, what are the unexploited trait in Siddha system for the young researchers as well as people who wish to know about the details of Siddha. I probably another 45 minutes. I would like to give in a three portion. First, I would like to tell about something about what is Siddha, how the world understands Siddha. Second one about what are the current scenario about Siddha, how we can help the people, how Siddha can be integrated with other systems of medicine to combat various ailments. And third part is I would like to tell about what are the opportunities to look into that Siddha in research, particularly clinical research, pharmacological research, and basic philosophical research. All these things I would like to tell. So coming to the point of what is Siddha. The word Siddha is more familiar with the Tamil people. It may arise from the people, anthropologists are they saying the word Siddha medicine arises from the word called Siddhi. You may know about the word Siddhi, which is almost equal to eternal bliss. On those days, our ancestors' main goal of life is achieving toward eternal bliss and defeat the mortality. That is the core idea of our philosophers, our forefathers, all people. To achieve the eternal bliss, to defeat the mortality, they have to strengthen their physical body as well as mental health. So in that process, to achieve the physical health and mental health, they taught a lot of lifestyle principles, food principles, and they identified common herbs and mineral compound and animal compound also. Whenever we fall in sick or if we have any kind of metabolic crisis of those days. So in this way only the Siddha system emerging slowly from the, we can say 3,000, 4,000 years, slowly one by one emerged from the quest for the quest to achieve the physical health and mental health. And another way we can say this is not a one. If you take it in a sociologically, if you think, or if you take it in a historically, if you think, it won't come in a one point of single day. It won't come. It might not become so. On those days, 2,000, 3,000 years before, every part of the geographically, every part of the places, the human want to conquer the nature. At the time, the experiences were documented through person to person. So whenever they found some kind of sickness, whenever they found some kind of physical problem, they want to treat it from the nearby available material. It might be a herb or might be a food or might be some animal origin. So they got some experiences with those nearby people and they documented and they passed to the other next generation. So those inferences, those experiences accumulated day by day and which is after the later period, probably 2,000 years before, when human got some intellectual, some understanding about the relationship between the cosmic energy or between the macrocosm and microcosm. They collected all the experiences, they collected the inferences, and they tried to match the understanding of the relationship between the macrocosm and microcosm. In Siddha, we always say one important phrase of our fundamental philosophical understanding. In Tamil, the phrase is called Andathil Ullade Pindam, Pindathil Ullade Andam, Andamum Pindamum Ondre, Arindudan Parkum Pode. The meaning is actually what is present in the macrocosm. The macrocosm is fire, earth, water, air, all what is present in the macrocosm, which is also present in our microcosm, the human body. This is the basic fundamental understanding of Siddha system. I could say in all other traditional system of medicine have the bottom line of these kind of principle only. Even if it is a Chinese system of medicine, or in Indian Ayurveda, or Arab system of medicine, Unani system of medicine, or Sujok in Korea, or Kampo medicine in Japan, every small traditional systems of medicine around the world, they somewhat try to connect the macrocosm and microcosm. Same thing was happened with Siddha also. What is the peculiarity of Siddha system? It's they frame a beautiful philosophy connecting the macro and microcosm. So this is the this kind of understanding and this kind of formulation or this kind of proper philosophy which is not present in many traditional system of medicine. I could say Ayurveda, Unani, Chinese system have a beautiful construction, same like Siddha also. Probably all these system emerges in a small, same time, same antiquity, or sometimes under 200 years here and there, front and back. But that's why the philosophy of traditional Indian system of medicine, whatever system, have a same understanding of that. And in the Siddha philosophy, they have a clear idea how the person got sick. In Tamil, Tirukural, we may all aware about, some people are Tamil people, I understand. So they may aware about that couplet. Migunum, Kurayinum, Noiseyum, Nular, Vali Mudalaya Mudru. In the phrase, what it say? The Vali Mudalaya Mudru, three basic elements, three humoral elements, that is called Vali, Alal, Ayam in Siddha. The same thing only in Ayurveda, they say Vata, Pitta, Kapha. These three elements, if it is increases or decreases, the person will get sick. So the pure ideology, the core concept, we have to protect the three humoral system, that Vata, Pitta, Kapha or Vali, Alal, Ayam. We have to maintain in a synergetical way. It should not increase or should not decrease. That's why we can prevent many illness. But sometime in our the day-to-day from morning to evening, or in our 15 years, 25 years, 40 years, these one of the some system that Vata may increase, or Pitta may decrease, or Kapha may increase, to maintain the demand, or to maintain to protect our body, to prevent certain ailment for a temporary phase. But the synergetical way should be maintained the whole walks of life, wherever we are living, wherever we are, whatever we are eating, and what our circumstances we are. This is the core philosophy behind. Then how we can make the system three, that Vata, Pitta, Kapha, to maintain in a synergy. The main thing is our food. First thing is our food. Second thing is our environment and lifestyle. Third is our mind. So whatever influences the food, or whatever influences the environment, whatever influences our day-to-day lifestyle, and whatever influences our mind, definitely will influence the three dosha, Vata, Pitta, Kapha. So, so how it can be influenced, how we can prevent that influences, how we can safeguard our three dosha without these influences, every human should understand. On those days, these kind of practices actually amalgamated with our own cultural practices and lifestyle practices, everything. But because of fashion lifestyle, because of very speed modernization and westernization, we lost such cultural practices, and we couldn't able to afford such cultural practice sometimes. Sometimes we forgot our roots, practices. That all nowadays accumulated, and people got the ailment very frequently. I could say all these current metabolic diseases, I can say non-communicable diseases like diabetes, hypertension, ischemic heart disease, or various varieties of cancer, or these chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, which is called COPD. All these were on those days also. But on those days, they were documented as geriatric ailment. The people in the tail end of their lifestyle, probably on those days it was 60, 65. At that time, geriatric time only, they got all these non-communicable diseases. But now, all accumulated in the early younger ages itself because of these kind of influences. So, according to Siddha and according to our own Tamil philosophy, we must understand which influences, first point. Second thing, how best we can prevent, how best we can avoid such bad influences to prevent our own health, to our own health, to avoid these kind of non-communicable diseases. This basic understanding everyone should have. And how Siddha treats nowadays. Siddha, we always, Siddha system of medicine, we have a investigatory method of 8-fold assessment. In Tamil, we say, Yen Vagai Tervu. There are 8 gadgets we use. That is Nadi, Sparisam, Na, Niram, Moli, Vili, Malam, Mutiram in Tamil. Nadi is actually pulse reading. In allopathy, modern science of medicine, they read the pulse with rate, rhythm, volume, these kind of understanding. They will understand how the heart is pumping, how the circulatory system is working, whether the arterial pulse is coming on. These kind of understanding will be with the allopathic system of medicine. But in Siddha, what I had told, this Vali, Alalaya, Vata, Pitta, Kapha, that can be measured through the Nadi. That is called Nadi Pariksha. So that is a very fundamental gadget of industry gadget in Siddha system. And rest of the 7 is Parisam, is touch, Na, the tongue, the shape of the tongue and the thickness of the tongue and the taste of the tongue, everything is included. Niram, that how they are looking, whether they are pale or blackish or yellowish or brownish, that pale, that also will give some views about the health. If a person is having more of yellowish, we understand that the pitta part is increasing. In Tamil, in people may understand the jaundice people will have a little bit of yellowish. The jaundice is one of the bile-based, pitta-based disease. If a person is having a little bit of darkness is suddenly appearing in the body, that he might have a increased humoral of vata may be increased. These kind of Niram is one of the major factor to identify the causative or causing pathogen of the disease. Then like that Moli, how they are expressing, the way how they are expressing, and the language, and that how they giving impression to each and every word. All these are a major point. Sometimes the Pitta person will always have a very fast, aggressive way to tell the whatever he has. So identifying the style of speech, content of speech, that also will give a clear lead to understand the disease. Like Vili is eye. Eye, both the function of the eye as well as the looking pattern of the eye, whether it is yellowish or sunken, or he couldn't able to see properly, all those things is important. The same thing like Malam Mutram, feces and urine also. And one peculiar investigatory method, which is very, very important who want to take some research in people, somebody had joined, have an idea of doing research in Siddha. There is one test called Mutra Parishodhana. In that Siddha system, we have a Neerkuri, Neikuri system. So they just collect the morning first urine and they put 1 drop of gingerly oil in that urine from the particular distance. The way the oil spread in the urine, they will tell that the person is having such diseases. One of the very important unexploited area of under investigatory method, this Neikuri investigation. Where we can see later in what are the other research perspective. At the time, I'll explain that also. So with this, we identify the disease, these 8-fold gadgets. And nowadays, because of development of modern investigatory gadgets in a very big way, institutionally qualified people like us. I'm not from the traditional family of Siddha. I learned Siddha in a professional course. We are all taught with equally with modern biomedicine's understanding also, except the medical part, the investigation, pathogenesis, pathology, pharmacology of pharmacological approach for treating the disease. All we are learning during our graduation courses itself. So always how we in our current day practice, the prima facie with understanding the disease with 8 gadgets methods of Siddha system, and we confirm it, reconfirm it with modern gadgets also. For example, people who are diabetic, always they have differences in the pitta and kapha in the early time. I can say in the early diabetic, they are having a pulse of pitta pulse will be high, and with the annexure of kapha pulse. So that kapha also little elevated, pitta also elevated, pitta kapha disease. So we understand, yes, this person's sugar level is not in a good control. He's having high thirst, and he's having polyuria, and he's having some kind of mild emaciation is starting, and other system we will understand. Parallelly, we will check his HbA1c, we'll check his fasting and postprandial blood sugar, and understand whether the person is having in a good diabetic control or it is not in good control. So, in current day practice, like blood investigation or other ultrasound, CT scan, MRI, all these things, we just have a second look to reconfirm our traditional Siddha way of diagnosis. And after diagnosis, how we are treating the patient is basically to balancing the 3 dosha, which is affected. Whether pitta is reduced or vata is increased, kapha is increased, we will understand by way of 8-fold assessment, and looking about the prakriti and looking about other lifestyle, everything we understand. Then we select the proper medicine and food. So medicine also to balancing the 3 dosha, food advocacy also to balancing the 3 dosha. This is the prime objective. For example, a person is having an arthritis. So we will understand the person's arthritis, and he might have a vata elevation in his pulse. So immediately we think we need to reduce the vata component, as well as we have to increase the moisture content of the joint space. Particularly, we understand in osteoarthritis, the dryness of meniscus membrane, intra-articular space might be a little bit more according to the age. Person who is having 80, 85, definitely vata prominence will be increased according to the age. But a person is in only 50 because of his overweight or because of his usage of the joint, maybe abusing the joint, might have reduced the moisture content of the meniscus membrane. So we will increase the synovial fluid by way of increasing the what we say, the oily ghee based thing. So in a nutshell, we say puli thuvar vinjikkin vadam. Tamil in a concept we say puli thuvar vinjikkin vadam. Puli means sour taste to food. Thuvarpu in Tamil is a dryness. Person is having more dryness, predominantly he may get the vata based disease. So we have to reduce the pulipu, that's sour taste food. We will always ask them to avoid tamarind, ask them to avoid all citric based fruits. And thuvarpu means dryness material, food which will dry the internal oily substances, that particularly varapu, all those things we want to avoid it during for an arthritic patient. At the same time, valipu can be used for other people who are having more kapha, or people are having elevated pitta. They may have the combination of pitta kapha. That same thuvarpu might be good for them. So based on the taste, so that is a fundamental understanding. So if you want to treat the patient, we have to understand the taste. The 6 tastes is the real weapons to treat the patient. So we understand the 6 tastes. Whatever food you want to take, we have to understand the taste. That's why we are very much giving awareness about the ill effect of modern food, because we don't know the real taste behind it, because all the taste is not naturally come, it's all added. A sweet of a apple or a sweet of a banana is not equal to the sweetness of a donut. This is from a confectionery sugar, and this is naturally developed fructose material, which has a large difference in while both are assimilated by the body. So taste is very, very fundamentally important for a physician, for a common man also. We should understand whatever we are eating, whatever medicine or whatever food we are eating, we should understand what taste behind it. If it is a sour taste, action will be different. If it is a sweet taste, that action is different. We need all the 6 tastes, but in a balanced mechanism. Another thing, all the 6 tastes should not be come from a chemical base. It should not be a added chemical. It should not come from an added chemical. It should come from the naturally developed one. Then only the basic synergetical action we can expect. So to treat the patient, we will select particular taste-based food or taste-based herb. Then we started treating the patient. This is the way Siddha medicine treats various ailments. If it is even a fever or a diabetic or a cancer or whatever disease, first we have to understand the imbalances of the 3 dosha. Second, we have to choose which taste is required for the person based on the current complaints and the backup reason. Might be if the person might have a abdominal pain, or the reason behind it may be a small cyst in a pancreas or some colitis of the colon. The reason might be different. So we have to treat the symptom as well as we have to treat the cause. That's why in Siddha we always follow a phrase from Tirukkural: Noi Nadi, Noi Mudal Nadi, Adudanikum Vai Nadi, Vaipache. What is it says? Noi Nadi. What kind of symptom right now they are having? What kind of disease is suffering? We have to understand. Then we have to understand Noi Mudal Nadi. What is the reason behind that? Might be so that reason is very, very important. So we treat the cause, not the symptom. So Noi Mudal Nadi. Then Adu Tanikum Vai Nadi. That is, we have to select which kind of food should be given, which kind of herbs should be given, which kind of Siddha medicine should be given. That. All together only can treat the patient completely. This is the fundamental understanding. And again, another important thing, we always treat the patient individually. We cannot, the strength as well as weakness of the system is actually we cannot globalize or generalize a particular protocol. In the treatment guidelines making nowadays in Siddha system, we are all very fastly try to cope up with the modern system's needs. So there are a lot of pharmacopoeial standards, pharmacological standards, treatment guidelines, all are coming in Siddha system according to the WHO's expectation. So in that time, every time we feel a little bit of handicappedness, and the real hiccup is we can't generalize the treatment protocol. So person is having 60 kg weight, having asthma of within 45 years of old, cannot match a person is have another races with the 65 same weight, same race, same age. The same medicine cannot be given. So depends upon the person's genetical makeup, depends upon the person's prakriti, depends upon the person's environment where he is living, the mental makeup, the food practices, the medicine may also differ. So in a short way, we can say that we always concentrate what kind of person having the illness. That is fundamental. What kind of person? Is a Vata Prakriti or Pitta Prakriti? That is very important. And what kind of ailment is secondary. So primary is what kind of person. So we have to understand the person's complete mind, body, and what are the functions he's having. That we have to understand. This is one of the peculiar approach of Siddha system. I could say in other traditional system of medicine also they look into this factor, very, very important. That's why a person is coming and I'm having TSH level is elevated 8.5 or 15.4. Can you prescribe some medicine for to reduce the TSH level or to make up my thyroxine level reduction? Can you give In allopathy, they will understand, oh, the person is having 50 kg weight and he's having higher TSH is still elevated. You can take 25 microgram of thyroxine every day morning, you take and go. This is the kind of approach in allopathy. They will match the reduced quantity of the thyroxine so that the person will lead a normal life with that. But in our, when they person came to us, we will understand the person's weight, what is the weight, and what is he having sluggishness, is he having oligomenorrhea, or the person is having dryness of the skin, or the person is having hair loss, heavy hair loss, and is the person is having more stress, or the person doesn't have much of push towards his profession, or general alertness is very low. All these things we will identify, and we understand whether the pitta reduction is because of kapha accumulation, or by nature itself the pitta is reduced. So we understand that. Based on that, we will write medicine, whether you need a Andimandarai or we need Annapavala Chenduram. So the understanding about the person's prakriti and other factors is very, very important to treat the patient. So with that, first we will always select what kind of herbs is essential. We say always one phrase is there: Verparu, Talaiparu, Minjinakal, Patpasa Duram Pare. So first we have to choose the available nearby available herbs and spices and leaves. So which is, if it is not properly help to the patient, then we will look into the higher order medicine like Patpa Chandora, which is made with the salt and various minerals, sometimes metals also. So the first choice is herbs and spices and food practices. That is the first choices. So with that we will increase the dose, depends upon the person's need. So with this, the person, and another important thing, the Siddha practice is not just prescribing medicine alone for people. People are coming with some other ailment. We immediately give, oh, we understand the three dosha imbalance. Okay, you take this medicine, 2 days medicine. This is not the way of practice on those days, and nowadays also we are not advocating. We have to understand the lifestyle. We have to understand the person, why the person got this illness, and we have to advise the person how best we can prevent further relapse of the disease. For that, we have certain basic way how to prevent the disease, as well as how to further prevent the relapse of the ailment after the treatment. For that, we have several methods also there. And Kaya Kalpa, that is one of the major word. Kaya Kalpa is actually misspelled by the current people. That is only, if you tell Kaya Kalpa, immediately the person will say it is a sexual enhancer or aphrodisiac medicine. Doesn't like that. Kaya Kalpa is actually a preventing the body from major diseases. Kaya means body. Kalpa means to make it strength, defeat the mortality is actually the bottom line of the Kalpam. So there are a lot of Kaya Kalpam, herbal Kaya Kalpam, and yogic practices also a Kaya Kalpam also. So we have to select the person, select the need of the Kaya Kalpam, which Kaya Kalpam is essential for this person. For example, even ginger soaked in honey is one of the best Kaya Kalpam for a Pitta body. The person is always having migraine headache, or Pitta person is having some kind of indigestion, or person is having always a little of anxiety and distress, his Pitta might be disturbed. So we first treat the patient with exact medication and sometimes with proper food, everything. Then we will finally tell you have to take it this ginger with honey, ginger soaked honey. You have to take it every day morning for 45 days or for 90 days, depends upon the person's strength. And I think we will select the days, and that will help them to prevent further attack of migraine even after the treatment. So Kayakalpa is one of the major things. Yoga also in Tirumoola, Tirumandaram, you may aware about in 3rd Sutram and 9th Sutram, both he clearly taught the importance of breathing exercises and importance of various asanas. So Tirumandaram is one of Tirumoolar is one of the major saints in Siddha medicine. We follow his advices for many prevention as well as lifestyle advices, all these things. For that, we use yoga for these kind of prevention. And you may all aware about this yoga. The main yoga sutras are coming from where first taught to the humankind from Patanjali and Tirumular, those kind of saints. And later period, Swami Sivananda only had structured all these yogic practices to common how best can be used by the common man for preventing these diseases. From him only, all the yogi gurus nowadays available, or other all yogi gurus, they got the studies, they got the structure of yoga from Swami Sivananda from him. So we also follow the yogic practices to prevent certain ailment as well as to prevent the relapse of the particular diseases. So these way the practices are going on. And what are the research to be done? Why this, we are all telling that these are 3,000 years old, 2,500 years old, or 5,000 years old? We always tell from the antiquity, from the Tamil antiquity, these kind of practices were there. All are right. But the current day's expectation, they all expect evidence-based medicine. How these medicines are working. Either you explain in modern science way or you explain in your traditional Siddha way. We have to understand. This is the expectation from throughout the world. There are a lot of discrepancy and a lot of pharmaceutical lobby behind that. And some quarrels is always there among the scientists, among the practitioners, everything. Leave it everything. First, we can think what are the opportunities in the research. This is a time-tested, evidence-based medicine, time-tested medical system. We have the documentation for many diseases. What are the almost I can say nearly 360,000 formulation now Government of India registered in traditional knowledge digital library of CSIR. So nearly 3 lakh plus from Ayurveda, Siddha, Unani, everything all together. In Siddha itself, they have documented nearly 400 plus books. They had taken references from 400 plus books. They had identified nearly 1,000 plus traditional manuscripts, still unexploited. They are telling. So there are many formulations first. Even if you go to Tanjavur in Tamil Nadu, there is one big library. It's called Sarfoji, King Sarfoji's Saraswati Magal Traditional Library. This is one of the huge library for Tamil manuscripts, palm leaf manuscripts. I could say nearly 25,000 Tamil manuscripts were there, and many of them is still not open properly or exploited properly. They are, right now they are in the process of digitalizing and understanding what they had written, but many is not yet studied properly by either by the Siddha physician or by the other basic medical scientists. There are many, why I'm telling this, there are many evidences documented with their on those days knowledge they had documented. They might have, for example, if you say for diabetes, on those days they see diabetes is a disease of excessive sexual thirst, and the clinical signs all are matching what right now what right now modern science is approaching the diabetes. For example, they have one phrase, how diabetes come. Kodayar kalavi bodai, கொழுத்த மீனிறைச்சி போதை, ஓதுவாய் நெய்யும் பாலும், பரிவுடன் உண்பீராகில், ஓது சுக்கிலம், பிரமேகம் வந்து சேரும் தானே. Phrase come like that. The meaning of that phrase, they say, excessive sexual thirst, as well as intake of high calorie food like rice based or anything which is having flour in the basic food and ghee, and excess intake of meat might lead the person to diabetes mellitus. So this is on those days understanding. They say Anni Mayakattal Kandidam Megame. That also one important phrase. When we studied 30 years back, what is the meaning of excessive sexual thirst and diabetes? Diabetes is caused by insulin insufficiency or inactivity of the insulin. Those only studied by the modern medicine. How it can be connected with the these kind of explanation. This is the way when we on 30 years before we discuss. Right now, when we understand the reduction of testosterone and insulin insufficiency or hypersensitivity and the relationship between the dietary testosterone and these things, when we got study, we really felt surprised, really surprised how they understand all those things. Traditional Siddha system of medicine document very carefully with the clinical outcomes and the small parameters when they observed on those days. I could say, even if you take diabetes on those days, Europeans also and Tamil Siddhas also, same way they document one thing. The person on those days, they don't have a flushing toilet and all. They will go to the outside and they pass urine. When they pass urine, after that, after passing the urine, and that in the landscape, if they found ants are surrounding the urine, then they found the person is now having a madhumeka. That urine is having madhu, that is honey, that is diabetes. Same thing documented in European sciences as well as in traditional sciences. So the careful documentation were there. Sometimes it may be little higher, they may tell in a little bit of exaggerated way, or sometimes they miss certain nuances. But my observation, the current contemporary basic medical scientists should carefully look into the inferences of on those days, on those documentation, and we have to understand in a modern way. There is a one important word in Indian system of medicine. We always advise that word, that is called reverse pharmacology. The current Siddha system need a reverse pharmacological research. What is reverse pharmacology? We know pharmacological research. What is reverse pharmacological research? If you want to develop a drug, on those days, they design a molecule. They understand one particular structure may penetrate the blood and they attach with the cell or attach with the particular pathway and inhibit one enzyme or increase one pathway. That is the way the modern science look into that. So they design the drug. Either they one nitrogen molecule through or they put one nitrogen molecule like that. They design a drug, and they after designing the drug, they will test in a laboratory scale, in vitro studies they do. Then they do the studies with the pharmacologically. They want to understand how best it is acting with the expected outcome, whether it is coming or not. They will do it in the low grade animals, like they do it for the rat or guinea pig, all these things. And then they go to the phase 1 study with the healthy volunteers, then phase 2, phase 3, phase 4, and post-marketing study. This is the pathway of regular pharmacological research. Every medicine in modern system of medicine coming through this route. There are a lot of clutches and a lot of money behind that. That's why to reach for a common man, to reach one particular medicine, sometimes it is completely very expensive, and the person couldn't be able to take it in a developing nation people. So yesterday also in my clinic, one person came, they have a problem with their child with some deletion in axons of neural cells. So the child is having some congenital health disorder. There is a drug available with modern science. Recently they identified, and that drug according to Indian cost nearly 14 crore. They couldn't be able to afford. So these are all because of the designed drug development nuances behind it. But if you for Siddha medicine, what we advise, we should go with reverse pharmacological approach. Reverse pharmacology, we have evidence. Yes, this medicine is useful for arthritis. Some evidence is there. Second, we are documenting the evidences from the clinical side. Practitioners like us have some data about some medicine is acting on some system. That we have to collect the inferences dispassionately. We should not, with the passion as is the vision, we should not think that this medicine definitely act or definitely won't act. Without this passion, we have to collect the data dispassionately. Then From that, we have to take the lead. That lead should be studied pharmacologically, biochemically, and toxicologically to ensure the safety and efficacy of the drug. If you go with that from the clinic to from the bedside to the lab side, then the time as well as the cost will be reduced. So we always advise the young researchers, think about the reverse pharmacological activity. So through the reverse pharmacological action, we could able to take a lead. It might pave way for good molecules for specific diseases. Particularly, current day, there is a large need of non-communicable diseases. Because if we take the first, when I start my lecture, I told about the increased incidence of non-communicable diseases worldwide. If you take it in India, the last year, I think 4 months before, one paper come in the Lancet about global health challenges 2018. In that, they told India is first in diabetes mellitus among all the countries around the world. And pathetically, we found another one, the inference in the same paper. Among 31 states of India, Tamil Nadu is number one in diabetes in India itself. So the increase is every day, the diabetes incidence is increasing. Like all the developing nations are having the increasing incidence of all 9CD, not only diabetes, even cancers also. Various reasons, because of the fast and lifestyle, because of the environmental damages, because of the stress accumulated, lesser physical exercises. Those are the main reason. The one important point, right now, there is no solution with any modern system of medicine. We have to rely on, particularly on managing the diseases with available high-cost medication. Now, we have to identify some specific protocol which can, how best we can integrate the system. Because Ayurveda has some claim, Siddha has some claim, and modern allopathic system has some claims to some with their surgical intervention or with their modern medication. They have some good role to manage the non-communicable diseases. But no system can able to eradicate these kind of non-communicable diseases. So that we need to integrate together. How best we can integrate? How best one Siddha molecule can work with some yoga practices, or one Siddha regime along with the modern system of medicine? How best we can help the affected people? These kind of research is highly essential, highly need of the entire world is also looking into that. For that, without ego, without professional ego, without prejudiced understanding about one particular system is good or one particular system, we should work together. So for that, the scientists from the basic medical research field, as well as from modern science and all other traditional system of medicine, should work together. All system has geographically, though it is different. For example, Chinese system has a geographically different, but the understanding about the macrocosm and microcosm connection is the same like traditional Siddha medicine and Ayurvedic medicine. So we can think how best we can integrate with other system of medicine also. This is one of the research need, how best we can develop best product with the integration. This is one. Second thing, the philosophical understanding. This is completely neglected, I could say. Even modern science research also, application is highly, the things are going on with application research. But basic science research is very, very low. Same thing in traditional system of medicines also. Wherever you go in Ayurveda, Unani, Siddha, the product research is concentrated. But the philosophical research is highly neglected. If we work on the philosophical understanding of Siddha research, that will explore, that will pave way for many new drugs. For example, if you look into a taste, the connection between the taste and the disease. We always say, if a person is a high pitta, give a bitter taste that might be helpful. For particular bitter taste, if you taste it, bitter taste, maybe that the taste, behind the taste, some phenolic compounds, some terpenoids, or some volatile oil might be the reason behind that. Even if you take in a fenugreek or curry leaf, how it is, the active principle is behind the taste only. So person should work on the taste. Definitely we can able to find out some new avenues of research. So that is also completely unexploited, I could say. From the taste concept also, we can look into the food. So one particular food, for example, in Tamil food, if you make some curry leaf chutney or sambar with many spices, or some kind of food practices, each food is having some peculiar taste. With the taste, it may be helpful for one particular disease. For example, one stew, coconut stew made with coconut milk with more vegetables and other things. Finally, the product is having some specific ingredient which might be useful for some specific diseases. So that we have to understand we have to work into the philosophy of taste also. So I conclude my lecture with, first, we should understand the philosophy and the specific connection between the macrocosm and microcosm to understand Siddha holistically. Second thing, the practice is mainly with Siddha is nowadays we use the traditional gadgets as well as modern science of understanding to reassure the diagnosis, to reassure the stages of the disease. That is also very important. Finally, there are potential possibility for research. The persons who are aspiring for pharmacological, clinical, philosophical research, yes, there are a lot of avenues in Siddha system. If you want to do research on philosophical way, learn Siddha system from the fundamentals. That is very, very important. So that will give a lot of lead. How best the taste can be used. How best the three dosha balance and the diagnostic principle. I forgot to say while starting the lecture, I say about the Mutra Parishodhana, that is Neikuri. That is a very simple method. On those days, they employed for understanding the stage of the disease, understanding the person's immune system, understanding how best the medicine is using. Just putting one gingerly oil and in the morning first collected urine, how the urine is spreading in the surface of the urine, how the oil is spreading in the surface of the urine, we can be able to tell the person is having this kind of changes are going on. That can be easily studied with the biophysics, easily studied with the surface tension and the pharmacological action. We can come out with the easy gadget to for measuring the disease or understand the ailment, all those things. These kind of many research perspectives hidden or sometimes unexploited way present in the Siddha system. So I once again I thank Dr. Shan to give me an opportunity. I'm just a very small player in Siddha system, so might be my lecture might have some mistakes, or I'm not very familiar to talk in English. Mostly more around the world, I'm talking only in Tamil and all. So sometimes my way of presentation or some sentences might not be familiar, or some mistakes might be happen. If you feel any mistakes or any something need more clarification, please mail to me. Mail to Dr. Shan. I will try to give as much possible information. Thank you once again. We will all work together. Thank you, Dr. Shan.
Thank you so much. Yeah, now we can open for questions. Youth Career Accelerator students, we can be given preference. So those who have taken the Youth Career Accelerator, you can either raise your hands. There is a raise your hand button. So first come first basis, or you can even chat using the chat button, and you say I have a question, then we will open it. We will unmute you so you can ask the questions. Please, any questions, please? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Do you have a question? Okay. So wonderful information.
So
Yeah, there are people who will, while they will be asking question, I'm just adding on to your points. You have, this is really, the group of people recently they're attending the Youth Career Accelerator program, and they're excited about Siddha research. Most of them are will be presenting our work in yeah, I think this there is a lot more that people can learn, and definitely we can collaborate, and your guidance will definitely help us. So any questions so far?
yes, sir. What's the remedy for that? And the second one is, how is the appetite for research and learning for Siddha in India? Or no, a lot of youngsters kind of interested and motivated to take these courses at the medicine courses, or they, I mean, I know that there's a lot of awareness that's getting created in terms of the people, right, for getting Siddha medicines, but in terms of learning and research, is there more appetite in India?
Yep. The first question for the genetic disorders, is there any solution in Siddha? I could say not yet fully established. Like we are mostly handicapped, and most of the time we are helping them just to manage the problem. Even for the child, the person is the child is just 2 years old. She couldn't able to stand, sit, and even to raise their neck and all problem. We give some kind of external application that called Ellu Podi Timridal, which is we try to strengthen the muscle and strengthen definitely. Whether we don't have any clues whether this any kind of medicine can help to in genetic level. We try with the three dosha imbalances, with the understanding of what the dosha is deviated, what kind of signs she's expressing. Based on that, safe internal medication or functional foods, we advise them to whether it is helping or not. We don't know the clues whether it will be helpful or not. We won't give any kind of assurance for the patient also. When the persons they are coming, whether any possibility with a lot of pain and again in the mind, they are coming. So just helping them most of the time. Another one system called Varma therapy. Varma is actually giving pressure to the specific point. So that also we teach the mother, give the external pressure to the girl, child for continuously. It might also help to give auto correction like that. So these kind of, sometimes we couldn't able to assure these kind of when the person come kind of diseases. Uh, we will give the best possible rationally acceptable medication, and these kind of practices we will advise them. This is one thing. Second thing, the research, yes, the craving for research is really high, and people like institutionally qualified physicians and people who are doing basic medical research, they are all now looking traditional system of medicine, whether any for resources, because there are a lot of resources which is unexploited. But I could say some the institutions and particularly government institutions should work more on that, because more they are not concentrating in the fundamental research. They all now thinking of I can say the molecule hunters. any molecule is there, we can patent. If it is patentable, or if it is, then that will be a good market economy for that. So institutions, research institutions are concentrating on mainly on any clues for any particular molecule. But really, craving is there, research craving is there. Nowadays, National Institute of Siddha, one Central Government Institute, and Central Council for Research in Siddha and Ayurveda, and Central Council for exclusively for Siddha is there. They are all doing some basic research in clinical research and pharmacology research. But practitioners like us and individual players, we are also doing some small kind of documentation and research is going on, but which is not sufficient. When we look into the Chinese system of medicine, when we look into the other system of medical research, we are in a very primitive stage. What I can say, some collaborative research should be established. Physician, industry, academia, all should they can work together. Institutions like from modern institutions from Western world, developed countries from America and other European countries, people who are looking at traditional medicine is as a good avenue for research. They should also join hands with the people from traditional practitioners, so that good thing can be done. Research is going on, but not in a very big pace.
Thank you, Doctor. Thank you, Doctor.
Any other questions from
Dr. Sean Ram?
Yes, go ahead, please.
Yeah. So I would like to know, whether we have a good source of, manufacture other than IMCOPS for Ayana Sindhuram, Tamra Puspam. So is it safe to consume? So when I was little, whenever we get chronic pulmonary problems, we used to have something called Tamra Puspam. We used to take like a quarter of rice grain size. So we used to mix it with honey, and it used to be like bronchitis. It will reach closer to the bronchitis or even above the bronchitis state. But consuming that copper herbomineral or Tamara Puspam will give immediate relief in 1 or 2 days. If it would have been these days, we could have been labeled as bronchitis, and we could have given very strong, powerful antibiotics. But I have personal experience, but I don't see after 40 years, I don't see any reliable source to provide this Ayana Sindhuram or Tamara Puspam. So for the past 5 years, I have tried to contact with people from Trichy, Salem, and the remote areas of Kanyakumari district, Coimbatore, but still I do not get any quality one. So most of them has a effect on the stool color changes and some stomach problem. But I don't go to the extent it affects the ferrin level in the mitochondria of blood circulation, or it affects the kidney. So just I want to know whether you have any good contact, or you yourself is into this research. I know a lot of people were trying to get the puspam, the ashes of the metals, but they were not able to succeed because they have to refine 18 times or more in a very authentic way. Just if you can throw some light on it.
Yeah, your question is very, very important question. Actually, the real art is actually declining like anything. That making the bhashmas from the heavy metals, it need a big art. The science and art behind the making the bhashma is declining like anything for various reasons. Still, I could say some people, some vaidyas, and some institutions are doing certain bhasmas and chandurams, even though right now also they're doing. Even in our institution, we have a separate manufacturing division. We are also trying. But I can say the current laws and regulations of prescribing medicines and going for further research and all, they are all dead against with metallic preparation without understanding the traditional medicine philosophy. They think it is a heavy metal, Either it will accumulate in the kidney or it will affect the other one. The final end ash, basma, the particles, the nanoparticles of the basma, which is pharmacologically and clinically something different. It is not like raw metal. These kind of understanding is not there even in the higher level of authority. That's why slowly the production as well as the art and science is declining. But unfortunately, around the world, they are now they are you try to use that for both for diagnosis as well as both for treatment. They are trying to use the traditional nanoparticles for various reasons. Even if you see one paper in Nature, one author from I think he is from Concord University of Canada. They are trying to use the gold bashma for cancer treatment and cancer diagnosis, all these things. So there is a need for that. For your question, whether any people are doing, yes, people are doing. We have to identify. We have to. All the people are not doing all the basmas. For example, like what you had told for COPD and bronchiectasis or any lung-based disease, we first choice is Talagam. Talagam is actually a yellow arsenic based medicine. Not copper. We always think about if any oncological problem in respiratory system, like bronchogenic carcinoma, might be copper tamra bashma might be useful. For a person who is having a COPD or emphysema or chronic obstructive disease, Talagam might be useful. So some Vaidya might be more knowledge in making the Talaga bashma. Some people may have more knowledge in copper. Right now, to do research or to do specific practice, we have to identify the specific Vaidya who make the either copper bashma and tamra bashma. In our institution also, we are making certain bashmas for specific diseases with the experiences of some Vaidyas from the Tamil Nadu place. So definitely we can able to identify persons. There are some small institution. IMCOF's a very age-old institution. And apart from that, SKM from E-Road and our company is called Arogya Care. And a few very good pharmaceutical in here and there in Tamil Nadu. In a small way, they are also making basmas. So definitely I can
because
help you.
Recently I came across a research article published by Sri Ramachandra Center for Medicine. So there they have taken few mice and rats. So they were able to grow the culture of cancer in those rats. And then after that, they were able to periodically give copper ashes, tamira paspam, and they were able to reverse the cancer in them. So then only I got affirmation that it is possible. I also published an article on this copper, how copper is able to, have positive effect.
Copper, that's why I told. Copper is mainly, now we closely look into that, any oncological, that cancerous thing, copper is the main thing. There are many small papers, either with copper and also with zinc also they made some publication. And other mercurial Panchasudi preparation, they're all basic line studies, like what you had told is cell line studies, basic xenograft animal studies, that they had studied. Beyond that, there are many steps are there to come make it as a product. For that, we need a very cumbersome research is essential. Rightly said that Ramchandra, they have a SIFT program in that they are doing some specific research on heavy metals as well as some herbal medicine. Also, they are looking for some oncological activity. Yes, you are right.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. Sivaraman.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. There are a couple of questions online. Valgal Mudan, it is Dr. Sivaraman. It was a great introductory session. You mentioned about ginger soaked in honey in a Kayakalpa medicine as a Kayakalpa medicine for Pitta dominant people. How about for other dosas? I have also heard ginger in the morning, sukku in the midday, and kaduka in the night has several benefits. What is the association of three ingredients with the Valiyalayam, and how they establish balancing of the doshas.
One is the further thing is if a person is having more kaba, we always say karisale karpam, karislanganiki, right? There is Vedalia calendulaceae, that plant name. That karisale can be taken in the morning along with honey, karisale churanam. And there is one formulation from Bogar Elairam that karisale karpam. That is, they use karislanganni, kidanelli, karandai, few 4 or 5 plants, which is also very much advocated by Vallalar, Swami Vallalar also, that Karisale Karpam is good for the Kaba people. People who are Vata, we always advise to take Amukra Ashwagandha. That Amukra with milk, Karisale with honey, Amukra with, Amukra is Vithania somnifera, otherwise we call as Indian ginseng. That powder can be taken for Vata. And what you had told about the second question about Kala Inji, Madhyam Sukku, Malai Kadukai. It is a very age-old formula which has some impact about the balancing the three dosha the whole day. That is one thing. Second thing, I understand personally that Kale Inji, Malai, Madhyam Chukku, Malai Kadakai, actually a day-to-day cleansing medication. It's a detoxifying medication because all these 3 ingredients, Inji, Chukku, Kadakai, all the 3, will detoxify the accumulated either from the 3 doshas or from the other basically 3 dosha cleansing through the food as well as mind also. Kadakai, Chukku, Inji, all these 3 is having a very good influences in the mind. So my understanding might be either I'm right or wrong, I don't know, but this is not only cleansing your body, it is actually cleansing your mind. That's why if you take ginger, dry ginger and kadukai as a kalpa, you should have a yogic practice. You should have yama niyama also in your mind. Otherwise, people started taking after the popularizing this formula. Many people tried and they tell in between, I have excess body heat, I have after ulcers in the tongue, I couldn't have to follow continuously. These kind of information we are getting. So I understand that is one of the major formula cleansing the body and mind. Definitely one can try with yoga practices. Thank you.
Thank you. So the last one is probably a comment. This is from Gary. According to modern studies, the highest source of antibiotics and antivirals are tree bark and flowers. Flowers were once part of traditional diet. In the Ramayana, when Rama Sita visit Agastya, he gives them a meal that includes flowers, yet immunity is affected by entirety of diet such as prebiotics. Now too familiar with Siddha, yet in classical Ayurveda, barley is recommended as part of a regular diet. Habits such as dosa or with rice and urud are creations of a time, such as the needs of farmers or kshatriyas. For us, proper diet is different than tradition. So probably is a comment there from Gary. So what are called plant-based doctors? They have cured diabetes. Okay, so Gary has some comments. So we are right now ending this session. So thank you so much, Doctor. So it was wonderful to have you practically being understanding the modern knowledge. So I think we need more doctors like you. We had very good interactions with Dr. Selvasan Mugam, Dr. Arula Mudan, and Dr. Sivaraman. Many other doctors had there. So I mean, I think for youth, I mean, your approach would be very, very good for the younger generations. I think we need people like you for speaking the modern language and guiding many of the youth. And definitely we need support. We need support in terms of funding, and funding is very important. And with the funding only, I think this can move, because with pilot funding, once you publish, then we can write for grants. And I think the Indian government, and especially Tamil Nadu government, should have a budget for this. And that should be a proposal, because Siddha is seen from broader perspective from Ayush, but yet Siddha is becoming very important, as you said. The philosophies, fundamental understanding of studies, that need to be understood very well, because if you don't know that, all the principles, you go like you do research like Ayush based research now, they are all supporting modern documentation. Fundamentals, that's the paradigm shift, is not done. So we are definitely interested in the paradigm shift part of Siddha. And that's how Siddha-Vetha is trying to get those connections, including different. We were able to understand many things, such as how basic axioms are constructed in terms of physics, alchemy, and many other things. So we can develop the scientific aspect from a very different set of axioms. And definitely, you're having so much of knowledge will help us exploring further. So thank you for a wonderful talk. So we will have more sessions, as we discussed. We can have courses and other things in future sessions. So one of the announcements I have is on 3rd, we are bringing some students of the Youth Career Accelerator. We all are visiting the we're coming to Chicago, and in Chicago we're meeting at Chicago. There is a FETNA happening. It's a South Indian based big organization, and we have a Tamil international conference also happening at the same time. And there are also entrepreneurs. Many of them are joining there, in the same event. So what we're trying to do is try to present some of the papers there, and that is and so that we get support from people, get to know, at least they know that there is an area which needs to be explored. So that's that's the idea. So we have on the 5th and 6th we have the program, but in between we're going to Chicago, and we will have 10 faculty, and then another 8 to 9 students. We'll be traveling from there, Chicago, to first in University of I'm giving them exposure to Maharishi University of Management, where they have integrated many of the things, but it is mostly integrated in terms of Maharishi Mahesh Yogi alone. But we are looking from a broader perspective how we can integrate everything together from different yogis. So that university will give an idea. So I'm taking them there half a day. They're getting a certificate kind of thing program for their youth, and then we coming back and presenting this. Coming back on the 4th night, and we'll be staying in the hotel. So we made all accommodation arrangements and everything, except it's taken care by us from Siddha-Vetha Institute. Thank you for all the supporters like Kishore and many others in this in the event, who supported to take care of some of the expenses for the for the youth. And then we will have present them, and then we get given exposure to the modern this is the first time we are introducing mainstream Siddha into mainstream education, and they can put this in their resume, so that's the main thing. And they will be having more events in the future, in presenting in many conferences like Society for Scientific Exploration and many other conferences that I'm working with. So so this is a great opportunity, and Dr. Sivaraman might also narrowly join us in if he has time, right?
Sure, we plan.
Yeah. So we'll if he is coming to Maharishi Institute of Management, we'll see we can meet him there also. So okay. So thank you all, and thank you, Dr.
Thank you.
Sivaraman. You
Thank you.
have
Bye.
to say to everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you, doctor. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.